Hi, in this section we will cover mesh analysis with current sources. So what can I give the steps first, then we will give some examples and maybe some exercise questions. Okay, mesh current. There are two cases. Case 1. When the current exists only in one mesh, there is no problem. We can set that mesh current at that current source value easily. As seen in this figure here, so I can say that I2 equal negative 5A from here directly. So we can, so I2 is from here, I2 is equal negative 5 amperes given to you right away. So we can write one more mesh equation from right here. So we can find I1 easily. That shouldn't be any problem. Case 2 is important. In this case, when the current exists between two meshes, that's case different. So we need to create a super mesh that excludes the current sources and any other element connected to the serial to the current sources. So when we look at here, 5 ampere current source between two meshes. So we need to have one mesh equation go all the way here, exclude that one here, we can cover here. So in this ways we cannot write I1 and I2 mesh, we're gonna write the one super mesh. But we have two unknown. What we're gonna do? The second equation we can write from the super mesh area 2 right there. We know that is here I2 minus I1 will be equal 5. I2 you can see going this way, I1 is going this way. Here we can write that one. So this is one equation. The second equation will be super mesh. If we start KVL from this point here, negative 20 plus R1 times I1 plus R3 times I2 plus, coming back here, R4, let me write this one here, plus R4 times I2 will be equal 0. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2. We can find I1 and I2 easily. Let's give some examples. Example 1. In this example, we need to find the current I1 and I4. I1 is right here, I4 is right here. If you look at this circuit, we will see one current source right there between the meshes, another current source dependent between the here. So when we select the shortest super mesh, it will go from here all the way up, coming here, it's gonna go down here. This is shortest. If somebody want to select this way here, fine too, but I don't want to select that way in this case here. Okay, this is one mesh, super mesh. The other one we can still use the I4 here. So that's another equation. We need to have a couple of more equation. When I look at here, I'm gonna change the color here, red. Okay, if you look at this area right there, I know that we can write here I2 minus I1 equal 5 ampere. This is one equation. Okay, so let me write one more time here. I2 minus I1 will be equal 5. That's one equation here. Okay, if you go to write on this one here, the dependent sources, I2 minus I3 will be equal 3I0. And we know that I0 is right here. That one is negative I4. If we apply this one right there, so we're gonna have I2 minus I3 will be equal negative, what is it? 3I4. That is another equation right there. We have it. So the other two equations we're gonna write from mesh. One mesh we can write from here. One mesh from the super one, the super mesh. Let's look at the super mesh here. If I start from this point here, it's gonna be 6 times I2. You can see here. So go up, you're gonna have 2 times I1 coming down. So you're gonna have 4 times I3 coming here. It's gonna be 8 times I3 minus I4 will be equal 0. Complete the circuit right there. So we can simplify this one as you can see like this here. This the other mesh equation from the mesh 4. So starting point from maybe this point right there, you can say 2 times I4 plus 10 volts plus 8 times I4 minus I3 will be equal. So you can simplify from this one here. So again, change the color back again. I'm gonna have blue one here. Equation number 1, equation number 2, equation number 3 here, equation number 4. So we have 4 equations for unknowns. We can put them in matrix form, as you can see like this here. Then from here, using the calculator or MATLAB, we can find I1, I2, I3, and I4 mesh currents. Next example is this one here. In this example, again, we are looking for I1, I2, I3 mesh currents. When we look at here, we know that this current is here between two meshes. So that means we cannot write I1 and I2 mesh current. I3 is still okay. And we know that from here, that I1 minus I2 will be equal 4 amperes. That is one of the equation. So we have two more equation. One is from super mesh. If you start from this point here, you're gonna have minus 8, as you see right there, coming this one. Why we select mesh equation like this? Because we have to exclude the current sources. That's why we go over the other side here. So second one is gonna be 2 ohms times I3. When you come here, 8 times I2, then will be equal 0. So you can simplify this one here. The next equation we can write from the mesh 3 here, because there is no current there. Easily we can write it. We can say 2 times from here, 2 times I3, and this one time 4 times I3 minus I2, because I2 go opposite direction. And when you come here, we can say 2 times I3 minus I1, because opposite direction. This is next equation here. So equation number 2 here, equation number 3 here, which is simplified, will be this one here. So when we have 3 equations, we can put in a matrix form. We can find the values of that one here, as you see. Let's look at this example here. I know this is exercise question. I'll give you just idea. I believe you can complete this one before the class. So we can discuss about this one in the class. When we look at this one here, because of this one here, we cannot use mesh equation I2 and I3. I1 is still okay. So we can write for I1. The next one, maybe we need to go over like this here. We can write here. First of all, the current right there will be here I3 minus I2 will be equal here 3. This is equation 1. Second equation we can write from mesh equation 1, which is negative 24 plus 2 times I1 minus I2 plus 4 times I1 minus I3 will be equal 0. This is equation 2. We can simplify this one. Next one is mesh equation. If you go around, you're gonna have minus 24 plus 8 times I2 minus 2V0 will be equal 0. What is V0 here? V0 equal here, let me see, selection, yes, it's gonna be equal 2 times I1 minus I2. So we can apply this one here. We can have 3 equations, 3 unknowns. We can find them. This is the end of this section here. See you in the class.